He smiled. He joked. He begged for help finding his missing family. All while knowing exactly where they were, buried in shallow graves he dug himself. But how does a seemingly normal husband transform into a cold-blooded killer overnight? Was it stress? Was it his affair? Or was Chris what's always hiding something darker, something most of us missed? Today, we dive deep into the mind of Chris Watts. Not just a crime, but the psychology. Was he a narcissist, a sociopath, or something even more terrifying? The perfect mask of normal? This is episode 2. The mind of Chris Watts. Was he a narcissist or a sociopath? The mask of normal. Who was Chris Watts before murders? To the outside world, Chris Watts appeared to be the model suburban dad, a quiet, soft-spoken man from North Carolina who had married his high-energy, extroverted wife Shanann in 2012. They had 2 beautiful daughters, Bella and Celeste, and lived in a spacious Colorado home. Chris worked at Anadarko Petroleum. He wasn't flashy or loud. In fact, many who knew him described him as passive, agreeable, and calm. But this calm exterior was deceptive. Psychologists often describe killers like Chris as wearing a mask of normalcy. Behind closed doors, subtle red flags sometimes surfaced. Financial stress, marital tension, and an increasingly distant demeanor. But no one imagined what he was capable of. Was it a snap, or was it always brewing under the surface? The affair, catalyst or cover. In the months leading up to the murders, Chris started an affair with a co-worker, Nicole Kessinger. While affairs aren't rare in unhappy marriages, what stood out was how drastically Chris's personality seemed to shift during this time. He lost weight, started working out, updated his wardrobe, and became more distant from his wife and children. Shanann noticed and confided to friends that something was wrong. Some experts suggest this was a point of no return. Not just a man falling out of love, but a man constructing a new life in his mind, one where his family didn't exist. This black and white thinking is a potential sign of malignant narcissism or psychopathy, seeing others as obstacles rather than people. Narcissism Unmasked, classic traits Chris displayed. Let's explore how Chris Watts matches the clinical signs of narcissistic personality disorder, NPD. 1. Lack of empathy. His ability to strangle his pregnant wife and smother his daughters, then lie calmly to police and family, all with no visible remorse, is chilling. 2. False self-image. He crafted the image of the perfect dad. Facebook videos, public smiles, holiday photos, all part of a curated image, not reality. 3. Need for control. When Shanann confronted him about the affair, he didn't seek divorce. He erased her. 4. Gaslighting. In texts and conversations before the murders, Chris repeatedly told Shanann everything is fine while knowing he was pulling away. He manipulated her perception of reality. 5. Devaluation. Narcissists idealize, then devalue. Once he locked into the idea of life with Nicole, Shanann and the girls became disposable in his mind. Experts believe Chris didn't just want freedom. He wanted it without consequences, without looking like the bad guy. That's the dangerous ego of the narcissist. Sociopathy versus psychopathy, which fits Chris Watts better. Some experts argue that Chris Watts doesn't fit the mold of a narcissist, but rather a sociopath or psychopath. Here's a breakdown of the differences. Sociopaths tend to be impulsive, erratic, often violent, but less calculating. Psychopaths are cold, manipulative, and emotionless, but often blend into society well. Chris shows traits of both, but leans heavily towards psychopathy. He planned the murders. This wasn't a spontaneous crime. It was calculated. He acted normal afterward. He called schools, talked to neighbors, and did media interviews. He buried the bodies, then went to work the next day like nothing happened. His ability to lie, smile, and maintain control shows a disturbing emotional detachment. Not panic, not regret, just blankness. The interrogation and confession. Cracks in the mask. Some experts argue that Chris Watts doesn't fit the mold of a narcissist, but rather a sociopath or psychopath. Here's a breakdown of the differences. In the early interviews with police, Chris appeared calm, too calm. He spoke and rehearsed, flat language. But under pressure, cracks began to show. Body language experts point out overuse of rehearsed phrases. "I just want them back," repeated. Inconsistencies in his timeline. No tears, only the appearance of sadness. Then came the failed polygraph test, which broke the illusion. After hours of pressure, he cracked and confessed, but only partially. He first claimed Shanann had killed the children, and he killed her in rage. This deflection, blaming Shanann, was another sign of narcissism and cowardice. He couldn't own his evil, not even then. Letters from prison. More insight or more manipulation? After conviction, Chris Watts was sentenced to 5 life sentences without parole. In prison, he began corresponding with pen pals and authors. In one letter, he described the murders in shocking detail, including how his daughter walked in after he killed Shanann. Instead of stopping, he proceeded to smother her. Was this confession a sign of remorse? Or just another way to stay relevant, to manipulate sympathy? Some psychologists say that even in prison, narcissists seek admiration. Watts joined Bible studies. He said he was born again, but others saw through it, saying he was still seeking image repair, even behind bars. Conclusion: what type of monster was Chris Watts? So what was Chris Watts? A narcissist who couldn't stand be the bad guy? A psychopath who faked his whole life with chilling precision? A coward, unwilling to face consequences, and choosing annihilation over accountability? Perhaps he was all three. What's certain is that his quiet demeanor fooled everyone, until it was too late. He didn't look like a killer. He didn't sound like a killer. But behind the mask was something empty, hollow, and dangerous. His story is a chilling reminder. Evil doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers, it smiles, it fits in perfectly. The mind of Chris Watts may have shocked us, but one question still lingers. What role did his secret mistress play? Was she just a bystander, or something more? In the next episode, we dive deeper into the affair that changed everything. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know your theory in the comments. Evil doesn't always act alone, and sometimes it wears perfume.